at this moment for the first time. Or maybe those trolls who are now listening to the show because I've enraged them so much that they've become a listener. Eventually, I will convert you guys. Trolls are loyal listeners. You have no idea, folks. They are so loyal because they want to come on and, criticize you and comment on your videos and make disparaging remarks in the chat room. They love doing that. And I don't mind having loyal listeners. Eventually, the brainwashing that they have endured their entire life will be broken just by listening to this show. Little bits and pieces will crack away because of the way I deliver the information. And I'll just chip away and knock it off. You can ask. Some people will even comment in the chat room. I know you're out there. They've come around. It may have taken a little while, but I sat there with the hammer and chipped away all their brainwashing. It was like a big helmet of brainwashing, right? They were under some kind of spell, and I had to break it away, knock pieces off, and it takes a while. You can't just do that in one episode. It's impossible. You're talking a lifelong indoctrination, what the mainstream wants you to believe. And a lot of times, as demonstrated here on the John Lebang Show, what the mainstream wants you to believe and what actually is are two different things. So sometimes it takes a while. In fact, I say listen for about 6 weeks, and the cracks will start showing in your brainwashing. And the light, you'll start seeing light at the end of the tunnel. If you're confused, if you don't understand what's going on in the world, if you're uncivil, come to the John Lebang Show. I'll help you. I'll help fix your problem. We'll get through the muck together. But you got to be willing to listen. And if that means you have to become a troll, go ahead, be a troll. You won't be a troll after a little while. You'll be like, wow, this guy makes sense. I know. You wouldn't be the first one. John, I didn't believe you at first, but man, you're pretty damn accurate. It's not because I'm some genie, some prophetic guru. I just know how history works. And I know what actually happens because I don't. Just take the headlines and run with it. Boy, if we all lived off the headlines, it'd be like Twitter. That Twitter boy over here. He is itching for somebody to give him some attention on Twitter. So with that being said, going to move on because I want to talk about these local politicians running for these county offices and for for some of the state representative offices in the state Senate. And I've invited a couple on. They're posting all the time, on these community Facebook groups that pop up in every city. Every city has them, or at least most cities do. And forgive me, I'm dealing with some kind of throat congestion, chest thing. Oh, it's been a week, ladies and gentlemen. It's been such a week. Stressful, out of this world stressful for John Lebang. And I think it weakened me to the point where I caught a cold or something. Hopefully it's not, I'm not going to die from it tonight. I'd hate to be on the air and just have right in front of you and we're dead on the radio. It's not how you want to go. You don't want to shock people. We're not here in the shock value radio, That'd probably get me so many listeners, although they'd have to listen to reruns after that. But whatever, maybe that's how you crack through the brainwashing. But these politicians, get back on track. Geez, I'm all over the map. These politicians or would-be politicians, because I don't think either one have been in politics. I could be wrong there. I haven't studied them. I wanted them to come on my show. I'm going to ask them direct questions, and I want them to answer it. So that you, the listener, who's here in Michigan, which I have 3 stations on, ladies and gentlemen. There's 3 stations here in Michigan. So these politicians who disregard me, who won't give me the time of day, they'd rather talk to Frank Beckman or somebody on 760 AM, which sure gets a lot of people. I understand it gets a lot of people. A lot more in Detroit than John does. I get it. But I have a whole different array of listeners on Alien X Radio in Detroit. Indie Radio Network in Mount Pleasant, and our news station over there in Muskegon. We have our listeners, and you shouldn't disregard them, you would-be politicians. So I've asked him on. One guy at one time said yes, because I actually know this guy personally. I worked with him many years ago. And he was like, oh, we'll do something in August. I says, well, I'm up for it. Let's do it. Well, week before we were going to do it, I sent him a message, and he must have listened to my show and realized that I was going to ask tough questions. Yeah, because he didn't even respond to me, and he doesn't want to respond to me. So then in September, I sent him another message. Hey, man, come on the show. I'd like to talk about what you plan on doing if you're elected to office. Nothing. The other guy, the Jeff guy, the Joneser over there, he won't even respond. I'm nothing. If you're not on 760 or one of the big stations, you don't freaking matter. It doesn't matter. Your listeners don't matter, no matter how many listeners are listening. And even if my listeners did matter, they wouldn't care. It's not like I was asking the guy to be on for a 3-hour show. They could call into the show, talk to him, ask. I could ask 4 or 5 questions. 4 or 5 questions. Let them promote their website so people can go check them out. Go check them out. See what they're really about. They didn't want to do that for whatever reason. John Lebang's not big enough. He doesn't have a big enough audience. We don't want to target his audience. We want to discount him and his audience. And I take offense from my listeners, because my listeners are just as important as any other voter in Michigan or any other state for that matter, or over in England or in Australia, wherever they are. They vote. You'd think these politicians in a small race, where here in Michigan, especially 1, 2, or 3, or 4 votes may take you from winning to losing, especially how contested some of these races are going to be. But no, forget it. We don't want to. So Patrick, you know who you are if you're listening. I'm sure you have listened at least once, and that's why you won't come on after you agreed to come on. Mr. Jones are out there. You won't even respond to me. That's fine. I won't endorse you. In fact, I'll endorse your opponent. Hopefully they're a third party, because if they're a Democrat, I can't endorse them. But it's really, really, really sad that a person who wants and tries his hardest to disseminate the truth and give a voice to the person who doesn't have a voice, or who doesn't think they have a voice, because they're not a Republican, they're not a Democrat, they're not a Green Party member or a Tea Party member or this or that or the other thing. They're just an independent person who wants good people in office. That's it. Good people. That's all we want. Good people in office. You go there, 1 term, you're out of there. Get out. Let the next person go in there. And the person that wants to go to whatever political office to get something done, that's not the person you want, ladies and gentlemen. Those people are all about an agenda. And people with agendas are usually part of a larger political movement. And that political movement normally are not in your best interests. I put out this offer to any local politician, whether you be in Michigan, in Florida, New York, California, Las Vegas, Seattle, Chicago, because 24.7 is back on the air, and guess what? The John Lebang Show is now back in Chicago. Iowa, Alabama, Connecticut, Maine, the United Kingdom, Australia, the Netherlands. If you're a politician, or a would-be politician, or somebody who wants to make a difference in the world, contact the John Lebang Show. We'll give you a voice, but we're going to ask you questions. And you better be ready with some decent answers, because we're not going to let you slide by giving some politically bullcrap answer. People are tired of the traditional politician who goes in office for an agenda. Well, we're tired of it. The listeners of the John Lebang Show are many. Don't underestimate us. If you want to get your voice out, if you want to come to a show that'll be fair but ask tough questions, this is the show that you should be contacting. We'll give you a voice. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Green Party member, Constitution Party, whatever party, the BS party, bring it on. We'll talk to you on this show. My listeners will be glad to hear somebody have the courage to come to a show that's going to ask real questions. And if it's not some shady agenda, you'll be proud to talk about it on a show like mine. Otherwise, you'll avoid shows like mine. And you'll go to the show that asks the softball questions. Or you just won't go to the show, and hopefully there's not enough voters to oppose you. A lot of these smaller, and that bothers me as well. Learn about these smaller offices that you need to vote for. Don't leave those blank, and don't allow a person to become unopposed and have free reign to do whatever they want in whatever political office is available to just steal. And that's where you, the listener, need to learn more about who these people are and get involved in the government. Don't let these people control our lives. The only way to do it is to get rid of the Democrats first. It's a simple plan. Get rid of the Democrats. Make them obscure. Then we need to work on the Republicans. We can't take them both down at the same time. We can't. I just don't see it possible for enough people to vote against all the Democrats and all the Republicans. Plus, we don't have enough independents to fill those voids just yet. So we work to take out the Democrats. Then after we take out those linguini-spined Republicans, they will be easier than the Democrats. The Democrats are the virus that needs to be attacked and destroyed. Because they're going to destroy you. They're coming for you. There's no civility, according to Hillary Clinton, Maxine Waters, Eric Holder. They're never going to be civil until they have power again. We saw what the quest for power did in the Kavanaugh situation. All those hearings, no facts were presented, but he was guilty to the whole Democrat Party. And look what they did to Blasey Ford. If her story is true, they leaked it out to the media without her consent. If that's true. Or she could be just another political hack, which that could be true. Just like all these politicians that are running for office who don't want to come on the John Lebang show because they're probably all political hacks and they don't want to face real scrutiny because their words are probably as hollow as hollow as the salt mines are in Detroit. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, for the John Lebang Show this hour. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. Also, I'd like to thank all the affiliate stations who carry the John Lebang Show. 3 new affiliates in the last 3 weeks. Mighty impressive. We're picking up steam again. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Feel free to check out the archives there. We've got stories now. I mean, the website is loaded for bear. It's not like these websites that are made by some of these stations. I'm confused. I mean, people need to talk to John. They need to go to my website, and I'll give them pointers on how to make a better-looking website. Because a picture of your face, and that's it. And a click here button is really not a very good website. Just saying. There's no content there. So, with that being said, until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and for some of you, that's in the next hour, where you will hear special guest Kevin Holly joining us. This is John Lebang signing off.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance